Hey, thank you for clicking on my first video. My name is Damon Haynes, and I say we get straight to it. A U.S. federal agency is considering a ban on gas stoves. With the initial press release around this gas stove ban, the reasons stated by this news organization and many others were health related. It had nothing to do with environmental concerns, and while the health concerns around the increased risk of asthma from the small particulate matter, nitrogen dioxide, and carbon monoxide in the air are concerning, I want to talk about the larger trend this potential gas stove ban is following. Whenever the left hears gas, they panic. They think global warming is bad, it's terrible, we gotta ban it, it's all terrible. This doesn't matter if it's a power plant, it doesn't matter if it's a heater, it doesn't matter if it's your car, it doesn't matter if it's your stove. They view it as evil. They view it as bad. They view it's gotta go away. There's no compromise on that with them. And you can see that with states specifically like California, where they're banning more and more gas appliances by the day. They're not stopping. They're not going to stop. They want to get rid of gas altogether in a state, but they can't even power their state with electricity for a whole summer without having at least one blackout because they can't produce enough electricity on their green energy. But that's regardless of the point. What I want to talk about is the cost on the consumer for gas versus electric when it comes to these appliances, comes to these initial costs of buying in. So starting off with gas stoves, of course, the monthly cost of a gas stove is $6.99, while the monthly cost of an electric stove is $10.95. Now this is based only on 1 hour of use every day and one burner. Now if you're using multiple burners, you're using the oven, that cost difference is just going to increase drastically, and you as a consumer are going to notice that difference. It's not going to be something that you can just pass on to the lower class or the middle class without them noticing. It's going to make a big impact on their bills, especially if they're already tight. But you're making them buy these electric stoves or these electric appliances because you view it as more environmentally friendly. And you're like, well, Damien, you stated that the reason for the gas stove ban was because of health concerns. And I did. But it follows a trend. California has a 2030 ban on gas furnaces and heaters. It follows a trend. That's all I'm saying. It follows a trend. We should be concerned about that. So when you look at gas heaters versus electric heaters, everyone knows electric heaters are trash. They're significantly more expensive. You put an electric heater in your house in, say, a state like Montana, you're going to bankrupt yourself. It's going to cost you more than your mortgage, more than your property, more than your car, all combined, just to heat your home for a month. But they want you to put that electric heater in your home because it's more environmentally friendly. Because somehow it is more efficient for you to freeze to death because you can't afford to pay for your heat in the winter because of the cost of heating your home with an electric heater, than it is to just allow them to heat their homes with a gas furnace. It's just something they're not doing. It's not something they're allowing. And we can see that with price. So you look at the average annual cost. For electric heat, it's $2,628 on average. And for gas, you have $658. It's $2,000 more you're asking people to pay in California. It's not even asking. You're telling them, hey, your gas furnace broke down, you need to replace it, gotta be electric. Build a new home, gotta be electric. And eventually, as they phase out these gas appliances, stoves, furnaces, dryers, doesn't really matter what it is. As they phase out these appliances, they're going to shut down those gas lines. So then if you never made that transition in the first place, you kept your old gas heater, your old gas stove, you won't be able to use the gas anyway because you won't have access to a gas pipeline. So you're going to be forced to move on to electric. So you're going to jump from 658 all the way up to 2,628. It's ridiculous. It's going to bankrupt anyone who's budgeting anyone who has a family. It's not affordable in any way, but they're doing it because of the environment, because they're more concerned with the environment than they are with your health. The same people who won't let you take care of the forest, burn them naturally, lets them just sit there in California full of dry rot, just a combustion waiting to happen. People telling you to take care of the environment with gas heaters, with electric heaters instead of gas heaters. It's ridiculous. So, continue on with that. California set state to ban new gas-powered generators, lawnmowers, and leaf blowers. You can no longer sell gas generators in California. They don't want gas lawnmowers. They don't want gas leaf blowers. They want you to use electric for every single one of those. Anyone with a big lawn is going to have a problem mowing their lawn with an electric lawnmower. Anyone who wants to power their home during a power outage, which we all know is common in California, is going to have a problem when they can't buy a new generator that puts it aside so they can keep their fridge warm so they don't have to throw out a bunch of food, which is somehow, again, it's more efficient than throw all the food in your fridge and your freezer than to allow you to buy a gas generator just in case the power goes out like someplace in California, because that would never happen. But they want to pass these laws because they're a virtue signal. They had nothing to do with you as an individual. They're not trying to help you. They're not trying to make the environment better for you, because if they were, they want to buy cheap slave-made good from China with all the pollution that they produce that would just pass over the Pacific on to California cities. Something that's a constant issue for California, but they don't talk about that because they like making money off of their cheap Chinese slave labor. So they don't mind the environmental concerns that China has created. They want you to suffer so that way they can enjoy their life. They want you to be poor. They want you to make the sacrifice for the environment so that way they can continue living the dream. It's consistent and it's concerning. So, states banning the sale of new gas-powered vehicles. We all know California's already made that trend. But we have states like Washington, Oregon, Massachusetts, New York, all looking at following the same legislation passed by California, because California can pass their own rules in regards to emissions based off an amendment made to the Clean Air Act, which frankly isn't fair to other states, but allows other states to follow California as long as they're following the same wording California is doing. They can do it without concerns from the federal government. So what you're going to see from many of these states, such as Massachusetts and New York, is the same electric car push. They're going to ban that the gas cars. So that way you can't buy new gas cars, you have to buy electric cars, and that's going to mean the lower class and the middle class can't buy new cars. Electric cars aren't affordable. And if you're in a state like New York that gets cold, New York gets cold, especially upstate New York, your electric car, good luck in the winter. It won't let you charge it. There's plenty of videos out there of Tesla not being able to charge in winter because the batteries are cold. It's ridiculous. And there's nothing wrong with you wanting to use electric. It's just not affordable to the common person. But you're forcing other people to do it through this legislation, which isn't right. And for electric cars, to show you the difference in price differences, based off a recent study from Kelly Blue Book, the average cost for electric cars is $64,249, which is around the same price of a luxury prices. So luxury vehicles such as Lexus or your fancy Cadillacs, any of those fancy cars, while your non-luxury car price is around $44,000. That's a significant difference to anyone living on a budget. To anyone who's like, maybe I want to buy a new car, I want to get something kind of nice, drive it for 20 years, keep that well capped. I can afford something around $20,000. You're not going to be able to buy electric. It's not affordable for you at that price. So you're going to buy gas. But now you're being told you won't be able to buy a new car. You have to only buy used. because they're still allowing you to buy used, but that won't be for long. They're gonna slowly try to push when they can. Maybe another 10 years they'll ban no more no more used gas car sales by 2040. And then 2035 comes around, they'll go, oh, by 2045, no gas cars on the road. It's a trend that they're pushing. And it's something that everyone should be concerned about. Because if you're using gas, or you're concerned about your wallets, or frankly, you're just concerned about government overreach, the constant push from the left and environmentalists to ban these gas appliances and vehicles and machines is getting worse and worse, and they're going to continue pushing it. The gas stove one, while everyone's freaking out and calling it an environmental concern, much I'm saying that it's in the same lane, so I'm not innocent from that. And of course they are stating that it's related to health concerns, it follows that same track. And while they're pushing back from it now because there's health concerns, you're seeing people like AOC already support it. And once they add in environmental concerns and they push it more and more, they get the idea in your head, they get the idea in other people's head, they're going to push it, they're going to ban it, it's going to happen. It may not happen on a federal scale, but it's likely to happen in California. And that's something we need to stand up for. We got to stop it. We can't just allow it to happen. But there's not much we can do with that. So, again, thank you for watching my first video. Smash that like button. Subscribe. And I promise the quality is only going to get better from here. Have a good night.